I just want to welcome you guys to Be Well, Be Keto. I'm super excited because I met the wonderful, lovely Maura Vega at KetoCon, and she so graciously decided and agreed to come on the show.
Welcome to the Be Well, Be Keto podcast, where we showcase ordinary people who have achieved extraordinary results. Your host is the high-energy girl, Tracy Gluhite.
So I just want to say welcome and thank you so much, Maura, for coming on to Be Well, Be Keto.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is, well, besides the ketogenic athlete, this is my second podcast episode. So I'm excited. It's fun. I love it. I love listening to podcasts. So it's exciting to be on one.
Absolutely. And I heard you on the ketogenic athlete because I was so excited to see that you are into just being, what's the word? More in tune with your body and being, what is the word you use it to call an intuitive eater?
Intuitive. Yeah. Intuitive keto.
I like that. So tell us how you found keto. Like, where were you before you started keto, and then how did you find it?
So, I mean, my food journey is kind of a long one, but of course, just like everyone else, you know, we grew up with these thoughts that we were told about food, and honestly, I just never was able to eat carbs. So I kind of just didn't know how else to eat growing up when I was younger. And so I pretty much just tried to like minimize eating in general to try to minimize weight gain. So that just meant starving. So I didn't know. I really did believe in the calories in thing. So I was like, all right, well, the whole calories in, calories out. And so calories were calories. So I would just like starve all day and like eat a pack of gummy bears and be like, I'll starve so I can eat the pack of gummy bears. You know, of course, having horrible gastric distress and like all other kinds of issues. But, you know, I was young and stuff. And so, but when Danny and I got married, we started doing CrossFit, and that opened the doors to like paleo. And so that was like our first experience with like higher fat diets and like lowering the carbs and eating whole foods and more about quality versus like calories. And we did really well with it. Our first son was like paleo, super strict paleo for like the first 2 years of his life. He was just killing it, like rock star, and like so healthy. You could tell the difference, like so healthy. And we did that for, I want to say about 3 years. And then, when I had my second, when I had Dean, that's when like the whole, if it fits your macros thing was kind of like gaining popularity. And then we were also not doing CrossFit anymore. We were trying to follow like more of a bodybuilding type programming as far as fitness and like in the gym. And so, Danny was also powerlifting at that point, which totally changed the culture, you know, around food, like for him. Cause you know how those guys eat, like it's all about the gains and the carbs and just like, it's crazy. And so
bad food, or was he was a lot of good food?
No. Well, he kind of like at first was like way too excited that he was like able. Well, that's what he thought to eat all these foods. And so he kind of like went a little bit crazy at first, like eating drive-through, just because I think it was like he felt like deprived or something. And so he did that. But of course that caught up to him really, really quick. And so no matter how strong he is, like he always says like, I'm too vain. Like I can't ever like gain weight. Like, you know, like some of these guys, they don't care. Like they're strong and they're kind of like, you know, they're overweight, but they don't really care. Like they're like, whatever, I'm strong. But Danny's like, I can't be like that. Like he always has to still look good. So that caught up with him. But then he was just eating like, you know, like white rice, like chicken, just like tons of carbs. And then of course, you know, it's just hard to cook different meals for everybody. And, I was always kind of skeptical and just like, oh, you know, but then you like see, it's just such a, I don't know. It's so fake. Cause it's like the information that you get off like watching, like seeing people's Instagrams and stuff. Like I would see these girls and they're like putting down like 300 grams of carbs, and they're, you know, eating donuts and like they're ripped. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I guess I could try to do that. First of all, my carbs never went over like 100, which is still Like maybe 150 was as high as they ever got, which is still kind of low. Like that's not that high compared to some of the food like that these other bodybuilders are eating, because my body just has never, I just can't eat carbs. Like my body has never responded to carbs in a positive way. And so we did that for a while. That's how I lost a bit of the, a lot of my baby weight doing that I hired a coach. He was a great coach. Like, but it was that kind of diet, like that typical bodybuilding diet where it's, you know, carbs, white rice, chicken, very low fat. And what I was doing was kind of like low carb and low fat, which was just, absolutely miserable. You're starving.
Typical. Like a quarter cup of rice.
Exactly. Which is like, what is like Danny's eating like pounds of rice. And I'm like, dude, I get like half a cup if I'm lucky. And that's nothing. Like that's so little. And like, so it just wasn't satisfying. And then of course I'm starving all the time, which is just miserable, going to bed with those hunger pangs. And so, an injury kind of took him out of powerlifting and competing. And then Danny, like we're kind of just extremists. So like we are just, you know, we like go one direction or we go the other. And so Danny kind of like, I had kind of been fed up with it, but Danny like mentioned the word. He was like, I think I'm going to go keto. And I was like, at first, of course, because I was doing this for quite some time already, I was like, oh no, I can't like not eat carbs anymore. Like, what am I going to do? You know, like, because I know that with keto, it was more, you know, paleo has like a little bit more leniency as far as, you know, sugary stuff. Like you could still have like honey and fruit and stuff like that. And so I was a little bit scared at first, like thinking, oh, I'll never have this again. But I'm pretty good at not thinking that way. So I'm like, well, whatever. I'll just play it by ear. Like I don't ever commit to things because it gives me like anxiety. So I'll just be like, all right, I'm going to see how I feel. I'm going to do it, you know?